This piece of land allows us to grow row after row of corn, cotton, and soybeans. That's why, as a farm family of Mississippi, we do our best to take care of this land. Water conservation, improvements in soil health, and reducing our carbon footprint, all to grow the best products we can. It's just how we do things around here, providing for our family and yours, the farm families of Mississippi.
Coach, after reviewing the film, how would you kind of assess how Will played, maybe up to your expectations, and what are some things you thought he did well and maybe can improve upon?
I thought it was mixed. I thought overall it was pretty good. I thought he improved in the pocket. I thought he improved as far as maintaining energy with the offensive unit. I thought those were good. We did go 3 and out way too many times, which I thought that was disappointing. But I do see him and his receivers starting to get tuned in a way that they haven't been, at least since I've been here. And so I thought that was good. I thought he took a step. There's no question about it. I thought he took a step. And, you know, he's still he's still the youngest quarterback I've ever coached other than him last year, you know.
Coach, Charles Cross really improved from week 1 to week 2, it seemed like. I don't think he allowed a single pressure in that ball game. Got SEC Offensive Lineman of the Week. How did you feel like he progressed from last week to this week?
I thought he played better. I thought he played better this week. To be honest, last week, you know, he played. I didn't think he had a particularly good game the week before. You know, because he would have some big plays, but then it was kind of the try to do too much stuff, kind of, you know, then all of a sudden there'd be some kind of lapse. I did think he played good this last week. I thought he graded out the top of our O-line group this week.
Hey, Mike. How's it going? After last
Great.
Glad to hear it. You got some coffee, so you're doing well. There you go.
Yeah.
After last week, you said that Will needed to get better at decision-making when the play breaks down. He was doing a little bit too much. How do you think he kind of did in that capacity this week, and how crucial do you think improvement in that area is for someone to have success in your system?
Well, I think it's critical. I think he did good every time other than there towards the end when we were trying to eat the clock, where he threw it out of bounds. You know, he should have ran upfield and you know, not let him hit him, but he should have stayed in bounds rather than toss it away.
You mentioned Will's youth. Memphis has a freshman starting with Seth Hennigan. What challenges are there for a young quarterback like him, and how, as a defense, can you attack that guy?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is you're trying to teach a lot in a short period of time. And of course, he threw a lot in high school, too. So I think that'll help him. I think that aids him. But I don't know. It's, you know, the biggest thing is you just do what you do and you know, hope that he can't keep it all in control at the same time, you know. I mean, but, yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy if you want any sympathy on starting a freshman. So, you know, they can knock themselves out. But he seems to be doing a pretty good job. 2 games in a row, he's thrown for a lot of yards.
I know we talk a lot about, you know, the offensive scheme you bring in, but defensively it seems like for certain stretches, your defensive units kind of carried you guys through some games. I mean, have you had stops before where you felt like you had a defensive unit that was kind of helping you while you guys were still trying to establish that offense?
Well, I think you always try to do that, you know. I think that, and really I think all 3 sides of the ball have been fairly even throughout the first 3. I mean, I don't think we win either of the games without any side of the ball. And so, but I think they've done a really good job. I think they've gotten turnovers each game. And then, you know, and then the biggest thing that they're fighting, which is kind of similar to us on offense, is that consistency to not give up the big play. And we're searching for that consistency to, you know, to be better on third down type of thing. So.
Going back to that 4th and 7 call, the decision to go for it last game, what do you tell Will Rogers in that situation? How much do you think just the decision to go for it in that situation is a testament to the philosophy of this offense?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that question suggests more credit than me or Will combined probably deserve. But, I mean, so you're in there closer to the goal line. If you punt it and it goes in the end zone, all you've really gained is 15 yards. And then, or I'm not sure where we were exactly, but I think we were on the plus 40 and then, or somewhere in there. And then the odds of making it, I did think we'd make it. And now, we'd had those hitches on the outside, but to be honest, they weren't as open on that particular play. So he threw it behind Mackay, and Mackay, which we do it every day in practice, but he made a good play on the ball. But I mean, if you ask Will, we're going to go for it all the time. So, I hear him out of the. I hear him out of the corner of my ear, so to speak, but then evaluate it and kind of do whatever I want. But that was the biggest thing, the combination of do you think you can get it? The other would be what do you give up if you don't get it? And then the other is just my probably personal flaws along with our teams of feeling like a failure if we don't go in and score. So, we wanted another crack at it, really.
Coach, you mentioned after the game about Dylan and Woody and how they're, both, it's tough to kind of decide which one's the best one. They're both obviously pretty productive. Just in your eyes, how are those two guys different? And not to give away game plans or anything, but is there a particular situation that you like one guy over the other? Just how do you kind of decide who does what between those two?
Well, I think what's really strong about them is they're interchangeable. Dylan's bigger and's got a little more power, but Woody's got plenty of power as well. I think Woody's a little smoother catching the ball, but Dylan just got done catching the ball that he laid out for, and then so they're both good out of the backfield, and then they both block well. I guess. Well, they're both pretty consistent. I'd say consistency, slight edge Woody, but blowing a guy up, slight edge Dylan. But both will do that. I mean, Woody's had some devastating hits on people too.
Coach, I don't know how far you're along in your film review, but what have you seen from the Memphis defense, and have you had any experiences at the Liberty Bowl before?
I broadcast a game one time at the Liberty Bowl. That's as close as I got. Memphis defense, they run around good. They're fast. The biggest thing that jumps off is experience. They've all been there. They're all seniors. They've started more games than some of those guys have started more games in college than our kids did in high school. So we'll go out there and see how it goes,
Coach, Tulu's made quite a name for himself in the return game the last, 3 games especially. Are you expecting teams to kind of start kicking away from him, or you think you're going to have to find creative ways to get him the ball in those situations? I don't want to have to use the kickoff return team a whole lot, but in those situations.
I think they already tried to. I think you'd have to ask NC State, but everybody tries to kick it through the end zone, and I think they were trying to on the first one, and it just came up a little short. I don't know if that's true or not, but if they can, I think they're going to try to kick it through the end zone, and then after that, if you can't do that, then get it up really high and try to get everybody underneath it, or have some kind of a deal where you switch sides that you're kicking to, But he's got their attention now, I'm sure, So.
Mike, what does it kind of say about your D-line? Losing guys like Marquise and Kobe and even like Errol, guys that got so much pressure on QBs in the last year, but losing those few guys, but still the defensive line being as productive as it has been. How instrumental has that been towards your guys' success this game, and how big do you think this season?
Well, I think it's huge. I think you have to have your D-line affect the backfield, the quarterback and the running back. I think, that's important, and you're not going to win many games if you don't. I think that, those guys last year were a great example to the guys this year, and I think a lot of it's carried over. And then I think also some of them this year are guys that, that we've seen around that, we're doing a lot of good things here to begin with. Just that, in other words, within our team, we knew that they were going to be good, but they hadn't played a lot yet. And so I guess, and this happens every year, I guess on the outside, some people are surprised. We're not by several of them, but, we're pleased, but we're not surprised.
And a quick follow-up to that, the game was announced as an 11 a.m. kickoff time.
Which one?
The LSU game.
Yeah.
Do you have a preferred kickoff time that you like the best?
I think 3. I think 3 is, I think that window somewhere between, 2 and 4 is about the best time, is my favorite time. Most of them I've had are, you're kind of the 6:30, 7:30 range. So, Chip Kelly wants the people in Manila to see the game, so I guess I would like to think that some of my teams are pretty popular over there too.
A two-part question here on just playing at Memphis. First of all, just in terms of mental toughness, what kind of next step do you feel your team needs to take playing its first road game? And also, when it comes to recruiting, how important is it, scheduling games like this where you're playing them at Memphis to get kind of recruits there to notice you guys?
I don't think it makes a huge difference because it's pretty close here to Starkville. I think that, but Memphis is definitely a big recruiting area for us here. I think that, we're excited to go play up there. We just got to get a week better and play the best we can, and I think that's just focusing on what we do, I think is the biggest thing, and having the discipline to do that.
The jump pass that NC State tried in the first quarter on Saturday, did you guys see anything like that coming? How did you prepare for it, and how important was stopping them there to winning that game?
I don't know if they'd seen anything there before. You were kind of on alert with the guy when they came out in Wildcat, and then so just the fact that it's Wildcat alone means that watch out, there may be a trick behind it. And then, we got our hands up, and he had to take it up higher than he wanted to, and we got the ball. I mean, it was, I would say, we were kind of alert for something, out of the ordinary just because it was Wildcat. And then I thought we responded well to it. Then after that, I think it was kind of reaction.
Goodman and McCord both had some playing time in the second half and appeared to do a good job. Do you anticipate them having the jobs this weekend, or is that something to be determined in practice? How will you kind of determine the reps?
Yeah, I don't know on that just yet. I think they're still working on that, so we'll find out. I wish I could give you a better answer. Don't know. I think that's a work in progress.
With Malik Heath, you talked a little bit just, the consistency in his technique and stuff that has to show in practice. I mean, have you seen
So who's this? You're all muffled up there. So.
Sorry. With Malik Heath, kind of his consistency and technique and stuff, how do you kind of make sure that he continues with that throughout practice with every rep, and that maybe he's not taking a rep or two off?
That's a constant battle, I think. And then I think that also competition, the competition around him, I think, is probably maybe creating a higher level of focus with regard to that. And that competition's coming from Ra and Tulu,
offensive line play appeared to improve, had a couple pre-snap penalties in there. As the coach, how do you kind of address those with one particular unit when they're kind of there's some consistent issues, I guess, with pre-snap and holding?
Yeah, the holding, you just have to keep your hands inside, and then the pre-snap really was communication. We just have to communicate better. The one we jumped and everybody moved but the center. We kind of had a deal it was going to go on one or whatever, and he held it. And then others is just the discipline to sit in there. Everybody's anxious to get a quick start, and part of it's just experience. We got a pretty young group, and we got to keep getting better.